How do you sort of balance now that you're, how do you balance the excitement of, hey, we're going to a regional where there's still work to be done?
It's tricky. It's a balance, right? And so we've looked at the schedule. We are extremely tactical and strategic with how we plan practice and our week-to-week performance model. So I think it's sticking with that. We didn't change our schedule too much. Even with the rain, we tried to adapt and adjust around the rain, just like we would have done before an ACC series. And so the intensity and the volume of practice is all the same. The structure is all the same. And the difference is that they're not in school. And so we have a little more time and a little more, we can be a little more specific in our scouting and without the limitations of time in the day. So that's been really nice. And we have the same meetings, same conversations, and we're just building upon that. So I think it's, when we get out there, we're going to try to keep our meal schedule the same and do the same. And also I'll acknowledge that it is a new step, but it's different. And set the new standard moving forward for this period of postseason. So I think it's something that the team has done really well with, and we're just trying to keep it as normal scheduling and structures as possible.
Can you still sense, the initial excitement, but can you still sense kind of that buzz?
100%. We actually met on Monday, and we just kind of broke down that there's 64 teams left that are practicing and playing this week, and that's about 20% of Division I softball programs. And that's really special. I think that's something that's been earned. And it's a right that we have given ourselves. And so I think to step back and have some perspective and acknowledge the work that's been done and acknowledge that we put ourselves here so we can walk into Knoxville with some confidence in what we've done, knowing that we have great opponents, knowing that it's going to be a tough weekend. But honestly, every weekend's a tough weekend here on out. Like this is the top 64, right? This is the field. So we're trying to be really real and acknowledge what is, and also stick to what we know and who we are. And so it's a fun balance. I'm glad we're having to work on that, and that's a tricky balance for us right now because it's new.
How much, from a coaching perspective, just the scouting process now, going into a weekend like that, how have you approached that?
So we actually, in our non-conference preseason schedule, we play 4 and 5 opponents in a weekend. So it's very similar to a preseason. Preseason's a little bit crazy because we'll play 18 different opponents in 3 weeks sometimes, and so now it's kind of nice. It's a little more than one team a weekend, like an ACC series, but it's very comfortable, very similar to what we do in all February. So we are pretty prepared for Miami, Ohio. That's the first step, right? Is we've got to roll through them as meticulously and clearly as possible. And we've done our homework on Dayton. We've done our homework on Tennessee as well. And we'll get to do a little bit more on Tennessee and Dayton throughout the rest of the week and the weekend, and we'll get to see them play on Friday right after us, and so that will add to that. But it's pretty similar. And what's nice is that a lot of our other responsibilities are a little bit different now because it's postseason, and so even as a coaching staff, we have a little bit less going on outside of softball, outside of competition, and this is the priority. So we can put some of those things on the back burner at this point and really lock in on our scouting, which is a bit different than where we are in February. So we're comfortable, and we've got a plan in place for that.
You mentioned the balance there between kind of appreciating the moment for what it is, but also trying to just play softball.
Yeah.
What's the message to the team going into to appreciate this is the NCAA tournament, first time this program has experienced that in a while, but also it's also softball, something that they're very familiar with. So how do you find the balance?
We talk about gratitude a lot in this program. I think that's pretty woven into what we do, is being grateful for the people that have helped us get here, being grateful to Lisa Palmer, being grateful to our administration, being grateful to our donors, to our season ticket holders, to our parents and our families. And so that's something that we do touch on a lot. And so I think it's a pretty seamless transition in being grateful for the work you've done and for the opportunity you've been given to be here. And so we try to couple gratitude with competitiveness too. So we're excited, we're happy, but we're not just happy to be here. We want to go out with a mission, and we have another goal on the table. We want to be playing on Sunday. That's a goal we've talked about. And so this team has been pretty brave in putting their goals out there publicly to each other and to our fans and to the world to say NCAA tournament and a regional was one major milestone that we wanted to accomplish this year. And so playing on Sunday is another one. And I think we're pretty real about that and what does it take to do that. And so I think I've said this before, celebration is not my gift. I'm like, what's next? And so I've had some conversations with Coach Mendenhall, Coach, Dom Starzia, and some other mentors that have just said, you need to like enjoy this. Ronnie Weidman with basketball, some of the other coaches have texted, Coach Garland and Lars, have been really gracious, and just, Sarah and Rhea, just own this, enjoy that, enjoy where you've been. And that's been really important for me. It's helped me to step back and just enjoy the preparation process, enjoy the late night on Sunday night. Like, there's 64 coaching staffs that are working this week. That's exciting, working in this capacity. And so I think you can take joy and enjoy those moments and still while you're preparing to compete. And so I've tried to strike that, and with them too. I think that they're not just satisfied with the berth. That was awesome. That was exciting. And I feel that they were rewarded. We were rewarded for our work, and now the work is to be done. And I think they're pretty clear on that too.
I spoke to Mel and Eileen Schmidt and some others from 2010 this week. They're all thrilled.
Yeah.
They don't want to be the only team anymore. They're happy not to be the only team. Have you heard from anybody in that group or alumni in general about this?
Oh, my phone was blowing up for about 24 hours. It was awesome. Eileen actually texted Jamie and I, and she's so happy. Mel was here watching the selection show with us. She was wearing her tournament t-shirt. They were in Knoxville as well, so that was really cool. And Joanna Norford and Lisa. I talked to Lisa this morning again for the second time. And I wish I could roll through my phone right now and tell you how many of them. Kristen Hawkins had reached out, and so many people are excited. Casey Steffen and Megan, like all the alum that are here and so supportive. So it has been such a blessing to see how excited they are. I think some of them are going to be showing up this weekend, which is awesome. So yes, they have been thrilled, and even more recent alum Kate Covington has reached out, which has been awesome. Katie Goldberg, who's playing at San Diego, and so many of the former staff members have just reached out. So it's been really cool to see how excited everybody is for us, especially those who know the work it's taken to get here.
You mentioned kind of the excitement of Sunday evening when you got past that initial seeing your name on the screen, the excitement of it. What were your initial thoughts on the draw, both of the other teams that are in the regional and then going to Knoxville? For this regional?
I had a feeling Knoxville was in the cards for us based on where we were seated, based on where they could have been seated, so nationally ranked and stuff like that, and their seating. Thought they would be somewhere in the like 3 to 5 range, and so that was not surprising. And again, when you think about a region and a regional and how you're going to stack up the RPIs and the numbers, thought that was a pretty realistic option for us. So I think when we saw the Tennessee Knoxville come up, we were a little bit like, our heart rates were up a little bit, we were excited. And then, we see the draw, and the first thought is, okay, Miami of Ohio, they can bang it a little bit. So that was the first thought, right? Is that we know the buzz has been about their offense, and so what does that look like? And then the next step for me is, okay, what does their pitching look like, and how are we attack their arms? And so we kind of go right into scout mode, and what you know a little bit on the surface level, and then trying to watch the rest of the show and talk to media was great. And then I'm like in between on my phone, like looking at stats and looking at numbers and looking at age and experience. And so you're just trying to break down your opponent as much as possible to know how do you exploit, what does that look like, and then what do we need to do to prepare going into the week. So, we're trying to get ready for Monday as quick as possible and turn that around. So that was really honestly the thought. And again, really happy. And then as you're getting texts, I think I finally got through my text messages by about Tuesday, which was exciting. And again, it's cool how excited our fans, our alumni, our families are for us. And so that was just a blessing to get to respond to all those messages. But so that was really where my mind went, was I know what they're about on the surface level, so like how do we get into the details, and how do we go attack? This is an interesting weekend because you have to prepare for everybody a little bit, and so how do we attack Miami of Ohio, and then what's the next step? So you're kind of thinking 3 steps ahead, with then rolling back to, okay, Miami of Ohio, that's the first step. So that's really what we were thinking and going into it.